All right. I do believe that's about time that we get started. Welcome to the
Sweet.
stream. If you are here, if you are not here, you are still welcome as always. Today is a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And
Oh, I get it. Because they both start with W.
Aha,
ha ha ha.
It's alliteration.
And we are going to
literally.
be picking up where we left off last Wednesday with our RPGs that we're doing. As a reminder, this is going to be Draw Steel. It's not fully released yet, um, but we are using a backer packet that they released, that's like from Kickstarter. That you got this right?
Backer kit.
Yeah, backer kit. Okay. Um, and while it's not complete, it is enough for someone like Gizmo here, who's going to be our GM, to make a small little campaign for us to go through. I've been really looking forward to it. We got our characters all set up in session 0, and I'm ready to go. Does anybody else have any like final questions, concerns, or anything like that we, before we get going?
I'm probably going to have a lot of questions, but right at this moment, I think I'm good.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at.
All
All right,
right.
then. In that case, we shall begin. It's not the hardest road that you've been walking over the past few days, but any road, if you stay on it long enough, can be pretty rough.
Oh no, the
Nice.
music's getting rough. Oh no,
Oh,
we're hearing it
is it keep
twice.
while
Oh
I'm
no,
playing?
And we're just gonna stop that for a second while that gets sorted out.
it
I don't
was
know,
Well,
but
let
so
it's a
me,
pretty
cool
rough road.
too.
yeah. Let me go get my headphones, maybe, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
One moment. Sorry.
We needed like a little record scratch right there. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
I love it. And shame too, cause like I was already getting into it. I was already liking
Hell yeah, dude.
that music.
Better have a good follow-up, Gizmo.
Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna be honest with you. Full disclosure, I've just got about 7 royalty-free songs that are going to be playing on repeat.
That's a good number.
Hopefully, they're all around 2 to 3 minutes long, so I really hope they don't get old. I hope with 7 of them, and the fact that they are like just royalty-free instrumentals, they'll be
Are they quite different, or is it like...
they've all got that same kind of chill vibe.
How many of
Alright.
them are Kevin McLeod?
None.
You know what?
I'm ready.
I'm sure it'll be. Do we want to try the music again?
We
Yep, let's do
can.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
All right, here we go.
The problem with audio. Thank you.
So, the road that you've been on is not the hardest road, but any road, if you're walking it long enough, will start to wear on you. Luckily, as you turn the bend through this otherwise very peaceful forest, you find yourselves coming up to an idyllic little village along a river. The trees give way, the sky would be shining were it not a little bit cloudy. But you notice almost immediately something's just a little off. You can tell it's, I'd say, about late morning as you get into the village. The time when normally there would be, sheep grazing, various farm animals, but they seem to be locked up, kept in the pens for now. A few people see you coming out of the forest and kind of make their way back into their homes. I'm sure Thien doesn't, but I do want to ask, how much do the other two of you, Mac and Levi, travel?
Well, Mac doesn't travel much. He's actually very recently started actually traveling.
All right, Levi?
Levi's not particularly a stranger to it. They traveled for performances before they set off as an adventurer, so different
right.
context of travel, but
Yeah. Well, Levi, you would probably know this village well enough. It's called Greenbrook, and it's essentially just a little pit stop on the road to bigger and better things that has grown up in the middle of an otherwise uneventful forest. The people here are usually incredibly friendly on account of being, largely subsidized by travelers and their gold that comes in. So this behavior is definitely very odd. You do know, of course, near the center of town, of a tavern with the tavern keeper / mayor that kind of runs the place. Um, but you can do whatever you'd like from here. How do you guys want to approach this?
Well, the first thing that I'll do is just kind of make a comment on what's going on. Is it did I have like something on my face? I don't. I've usually welcomed in villages.
Seems like something's amiss here.
Something's amiss, you say?
Maybe it's me. I am pretty different.
it's
Oh,
not unlikely, is it? Paid me about as much attention when I performed here once.
Ah,
well,
Can't particularly say I'm happy to see them again either.
honestly, I want to sit down somewhere that isn't outside. It's been a while since I've been camping, and I would love to have a roof over my head.
Alright.
I like
And
roofs.
I will start heading in a direction that I hope is towards a tavern inn related thing. I have no clue where I'm actually going.
You know what? Just for fun, go ahead and give me, let's call it an intuition test.
Oh no. Alright, intuition.
Just to get the dice rolling. So, Levi, having been here before, you see Mac immediately start taking the road that essentially bypasses the entire village.
Huh.
You really don't know how he started doing that, but there he goes.
And there he goes indeed. Turn
I
to
mean,
Thien.
typically,
Do you think we should tell him?
if you're looking for like the bar or something, you usually want to take the back route, maybe.
Not around the whole fucking outskirts. Do you think we should tell him?
Let's
Go
just see
on
what
his-
happens.
Let him go on his merry way and catch up. I remember it well. Well, as well as you can remember a tavern after the experience I had here. Should be round
Oh,
the
well,
corner this way.
Well, Mac, none the wiser and not being told otherwise, will continue until he ends up on the other side of town, very confused.
Heck, you end up on the other side of town, very confused.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'll follow Levi
A wise
the inn.
decision.
Good news, Mac. The other side of the town is on a little bit of a hill compared to where you entered. And Greenbrook is not nearly large enough that you can't see pretty much the whole thing if you stand on a box. So you can see Thien and Levi, rather than following your intrepid leadership, have started making their way to this rather humble little building that has a sign outside with a little fish jumping out of a river painted on it.
Okay, very quickly, is there a way to turn down the music volume a little bit? Like, is there master controls, or does each person have to do it? I feel like I remember.
I did it individually.
I have
but
global controls, but I don't know if it affects everybody else.
It would
This is
affect
the first time I've ever
everybody
seen it.
if
Alright, I
you
just
do
turned it
it.
down a little.
Let me see.
Is that quiet?
I can. No. I mean, I should be able to do it on my end, right? I just don't know where the setting for
yeah,
it is.
if
It's
you
the
know
little
where the
music
chat
hole.
is.
Good.
Yeah. Apparently it doesn't turn it down for everybody else if you do it.
I was doing it for me when I was doing it before. Oh well.
I don't know.
Huh. It actually will not let me. Oh, wait, never mind. There we go. I
Anywho,
believe.
yeah, seeing where they're going,
All right.
I will scoff and start heading that way. I was just trying to get a look around the town. All right. So I will be showing up to the tavern late.
Alright. Levi and Thien. As you walk into the tavern, you can see its interior is not really much less humble than its exterior. There are a couple of people sitting at various tables around the place. You do notice the bartender slash potentially the mayor is standing at the bar, just kind of doing what bartenders do, which is cleaning a glass that's probably already clean, to be honest with you. But he's got to be made to be. He's got to be seen doing something, doesn't he? As you walk in, he kind of gives you both a friendly smile. He says, "Oh, welcome, welcome to the Hoppin' Perch. What can I get for you? Would you like a room, a drink, a hot meal?"
Or
Is he the only one in there?
He's the only one working. There are a few patrons sitting around at the tables. If you'd like a closer look at them, I can tell you what they're doing slash
Did I
what might-
hear right as well that you said that this was potentially the mayor?
Yeah, I say potentially because I mean, a town like this doesn't really need a mayor, but insofar as there are mayoral duties to be done, it usually falls to this man.
Fair enough. Didn't know if he had a
Well,
particularly mayoral appearance.
He has, we'll say, the rotundity of a mayor, certainly. But you can see under his figure, there is also muscle packed in there. This is not the kind of body that one gets by just sitting around and letting it go to waste. This man works hard, this man eats hard.
nice. I would definitely, as I'm walking in, kind of at least just put an eye on everybody in there. I'd probably give a wave with each of my hands to at least four of them as I walk in
Eavesdrop
at
on some.
the same time. Just a quick 4 waves, you know.
Nice, nice.
You get 3 waves back. You see in one table, there's a couple of older men just kind of sitting, talking to each other, laughing. When you wave, they both give you a smile, a nod, and a wave back. There's another guy sitting at the bar, kind of far away from the bartender, the tavern keeper. But as you walk in, he kind of turns to look at you, and as soon as you smile and wave, he does the same, then turns back to his drink. There is one person, however, sitting kind of in the corner. He's a younger man, kind of shaggy hair, intense sideburns, and he's just kind of sitting staring into his drink. He barely looks up at you for a second, and then he just looks back down. He does not look very happy.
Not necessarily unfriendly, just not happy.
Doesn't look like he's having a good day.
Yeah. Okay.
Good place to be then. Can I just kind of generally eavesdrop on just the surroundings?
Absolutely. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Just whatever rumors are floating around,
All
Whatever
right.
whatever's going on.
Sure thing. So, I want you to go ahead and give me. Let's go ahead and we'll call this one an intuition test too.
Okay.
If you have any relevant skills, feel free to. All right. Did you have any? It wouldn't matter with that number, frankly.
Well, I do have like eavesdropping, but yeah, all right.
Right. Well, that would
Well,
give you +2, which would bring you up to 9. That's not enough.
strong start on the party's intuition.
Absolutely. You hear
'Cause-
some wonderful tales spoken by the 2 old men about this sheep that got its balls caught in a fence recently, and old old John had to very carefully cut around the balls and nearly got his own kicked off by that freaking sheep that was just struggling like crazy.
Maybe there is something to love about this town after all.
I mean, if you like getting your balls caught in a fence.
I like hearing about other people's.
And it's about this time I'll say that, Mac, you start making your way to the tavern. You're at the door. You can go in if you'd like.
I kind of straighten up my jacket and dust myself off of the dust that isn't there,
Mm-hmm.
and push open the door and just swagger in as confident as I can't be.
You see the man at the bar look at the door, and then his eye line immediately goes down to where you actually are. He gives you a smile and he says, "Oh, are you with these 2?"
Well, I was, but I was getting a lay of the land. It's my first time in town, so I found a nice hill that I could look over to the entire town. It's a beautiful place you have here.
Oh, well, thank you kindly. We do have some good hills here. Well, I'll ask you the same question I asked them then. Would you like food, drink, a room, anything we can get you?
Well, right now, a drink sounds fantastic.
Absolutely. What's your poison?
Well, what all do you have? I'm not looking for anything too strong. I have to keep my wits about me.
Well, we've got lager, cider, ale. We got some scrungle.
Oh, scrungle.
Ooh.
I'll try
made
some of
from,
that.
All right, I will warn you, it's a bit strong.
Sorry, what was it you going to say it was made from?
Local fruits,
Oh.
foraged from the forest, or at least, well, we would have a fresher batch, but I'll make do.
Something wrong
And he
with the fruit?
starts mixing you. Oh, nothing's wrong with the fruit. Just can't get to it anymore.
Don't
Why
get
can't
too
I'm
you
sure
just
a
emotional.
big, strong man like yourself could probably reach it.
Oh, once upon a time, yeah. But, no, truth be told, and he kind of leans in, gives you a little conspiratorial look. We've been having some troubles recently. He kind of gives all three of you an appraising look.
As he looks over us, like he'll like look. I just imagine he looks at me. He looks over across, and then by the time that he comes back to me, I'm already like leaning in.
Oh,
Uh,
um, so you lot look pretty, well, capable, right?
I look at the others.
Depends on.
Aye, most capable band I've ever been with.
You see his eyes kind of like dart between you and your weapons. Good. So listen, truth be told, we've been having a bit of a problem lately. Normally, we can go into the forest, we can get whatever we want, you know? Avis goes out fishing, Mariel does her traps, we can collect fruit, veg, whatever you need from it. Lately, though, I've had this issue with these goblins that we share the forest with. We've been sharing it with them for years, but the past week or so, they've gotten a bit hostile.
A bit. What's a bit?
Well, you see his face takes on a lot more of a somber tone. We've had, 3 people go missing, and, well, Susanna's son, he ended up, getting a bit injured. Wouldn't happen to be healers, would you?
Not to my knowledge, but you people have a funny definition of a bit.
Fortunately, I'm don't know any healing myself, but you have happened to found one of the greatest inquisitives in the I kind of look around the tavern. At least in this building, I assume.
Just like you assumed you knew where the tavern was.
I'm gonna tell you this, Mac, because I think you've got the eye for it. As you're looking around the tavern, your eyes catch the broody man in the corner. But you notice, with your guard's intuition, he's up to something. He's not. He's not right.
Hey,
He's got schemes, machinations. You know a criminal when you see one. Not the least of which because you can see the remnants of his incarceration. Telltale shackle marks on the wrists. He's clearly been arrested before.
interesting. All right.
And with his shifty eyes, your gut tells you he's up to something.
All right. Well, well, first of all, I told you I was trying to get the lay of the land, and I found it. So write that down. Secondly, write down whatever he tells you. I'm gonna start investigating.
Well, truth be told, we don't really need an investigator, but all right.
Might as well let him do what he's going to do.
I suppose. Listen,
No
if you can get
use
some
trying to
more
stop him.
information, you might be able to help us out. We've had this, well, I'd call him an egghead, but, doesn't quite fit the bill. He's been staying
Right.
here for a couple of days. He claims to be a goblin expert. I wouldn't know, though. Keep trying to ask for his help, and, he won't give it. says we can't afford his help. So I was wondering, maybe you could talk some sense into
Maybe we could. But it's a fair question. What's in it for us?
him. You see his face kind of falls a little bit. Well, we don't have much, but I can give you free room and board for as long as you want it. And, just between you and me, got a couple of little trinkets in the back that you might find interesting.
I do like trinkets. And free
Hmm.
room and board.
He goes, he just slaps the bar, and he says, you know what? As a show of good faith, I'll go get you one right now. How about it?
Trinket?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Right then.
All right, and he disappears behind the bar.
Like mime style walking down the stairs or
No, he goes into a back room.
okay.
That would
After
be great,
miming
though.
going down the stairs with a big old
Okay,
shit-eating
okay.
grin on his face.
Great. He's like crawling on the
It's
floor. I
not
can
long
see him
before he
clearly.
comes back, and he holds up this wood cutting that has dangling from it bits of colored glass. He's like, he holds it up, he's like, this is the kind of fine craftsmanship you can find only here. And he kind of jingles it, and it starts chiming. His face lights up for a moment, and he says, my wife makes them, what do you think?
Well, it's quite nice. I can imagine the coloured bits catch the light quite well. Only
Oh,
problem
it's
being.
gorgeous.
Oh,
Tell
right.
you what, you help us out, and there's more of that where that came from, you know what I mean?
Interesting. Any idea what the market value would be for such a piece?
Oh, they're priceless.
Oh, I figured as such. Right then.
Well, I love it. I think it's beautiful.
And he kind of
Good.
he looks back at you, Mac, and he says, now, if you are gonna do an investigation, do you have a couple of leads I could give you? A couple of people around the town you could talk to. Might be able to get the, as you say, lay of the land.
I'll take anything that you can give me.
Right. So I was telling you earlier, Susanna, she lives just out by the forest. Her son was recently playing in the woods. Got his leg snared in a goblin trap. We don't know if he'll ever be able to walk right again, but you might be able to talk to him, see what he's seen. There's also Chris, who lives out by the edge of town as well. She runs a little farm out there. Heard tell she's been having trouble with goblins stealing her crops. You might be able to talk to her. And then and he kind of like glances behind you in the corner. And he says, well, never you mind about that. Talk to them, and if that good-for-nothing academic ever gets out of his room, you can come back here and perhaps talk to him as well.
I would love to talk to an expert on the subject at hand. So,
Trust me, so would I.
can you give me the first name again?
Oh, sure, I'll give you all of them. So the first one he said was Susanna. It was her son, Owen, who got his leg trapped.
More like Owen.
Ha ha! That's really funny, that. Making light of terrible tragedy that's befallen us.
Better than making it heavy, isn't it?
You got a point there. Nah, kid'll be alright, I'm sure. He'll pull through. And then there's, of course, Chris, who runs a farm out on the edge of town as well.
Right.
Hmm. Could go see the boy while he's still kicking. Ah?
Jesus Christ.
I appreciate the joke at least. Well, we can do this one of two ways, I suppose. We can either split up, start our investigations by spreading throughout the town, finding the people, of course, then going from there, or we can stay together and work as a team. I don't know
Hmm.
how much information we're gonna get out of people by having. Well, he looks over at Thien. 8 arms among
Um,
us against a, a farmer, but
Hey, now I have no problem giving a hand with things. In fact, give four.
Oops.
yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about that.
yeah. Yeah, that's right.
4. You see a man behind the bar looks over at Thien, says, "We've had your kind come through here once or twice. Don't worry, nobody will bat an eye about it. You're one of them clock bandits, right?"
Yeah, close enough.
Right. Oh, where are my manners? He reaches out a big hand. If we're gonna make a deal, we better know each other first. Name's Garrett.
Hello, Garrett.
Wonderful to meet you, Garrett. I'm Mac Truce here.
Oh, right. I'm Leviticus Athan. You can call me Levi.
And I am thinking about it. Wait, now I can't remember my own name.
You're
Shit.
thinking on
Thinking on
it.
it.
Right, well, take your time. As for the other two of you, nice to meet you.
I just got that joke as well, I do have to say. Incredible.
All right.
Well,
Do you want to ask any other questions of Garrett before you leave? He seems quite open to you, especially now with the promise of a helping hand.
Yeah, I've got a question. If you're so friendly, how can and welcoming, how come no one else in this town will look our way?
Well, 3 missing people, bunch of commotion coming out of the forest, problems. They don't mean nothing by it. We're all just a bit on edge. Myself, I've worked in hospitality the better part of 30 years now, so I don't let it get down my customer service persona. And he gives you a big smile, it almost twinkles.
um,
Besides, you're helping us out, doing us a good turn. I'm sure once you actually talk to the people and they see you ain't 3 feet high with long green ears and sharp gnashing teeth, they'll open it right up to you.
Oh, some of us are just 3 feet high with the regular features.
He looks more like 4 if you ask me, but alright.
thank you, Garrett. I really appreciate that. I do have a couple questions for you myself, actually.
Anything that'll help.
Well, you said that you have been sharing the place with goblins for a while now. Have you done anything to set them off? Like, has there been a change in the forest that you're aware of?
Not a thing. Tell you, we've been going about our business just the same as we always have. Couldn't tell you why they've suddenly decided to get a stick up their arses about us.
Hmm.
Has anybody been going into their territory? Like, I know that you said a child got caught in a trap, but
Oh, goblins don't have territory like that, not round here. They go where they have. They have their little village, of course. They haven't quite built up as much as we have, and you see it kind of puffs his chest up. But no, we share the forest. Usually the kids playing in the woods don't cause any problems. Why? My kids used to do it before they grew up and moved out, never to contact me again, not so much as a post, not that I mind. It's never been a problem.
So, how do you know it's the goblins? Have you seen them yourself taking people, or
Well, we haven't seen them taking people. They usher them away in the dead of night. But who else could it be? We got rabbits, probably ain't them. Squirrels, the odd deer, but I don't think they're doing it. And anyway, when little Owen got caught in that trap, that pretty much cinched it.
Right, and
well, what?
there is something I'd like to raise about that now. So you haven't done a thing to the goblins, have you?
Not a thing.
Why are you laying traps for them then? Your kid got caught in your own damn trap.
No, it was
No,
the goblin trap.
Oh,
no,
the
the
goblins laid
Not
a
a
goblins.
trap
trap.
The
for
goblins are
goblins.
laying
A
down
trap laid
traps.
by goblins. Yeah, the whole forest is full of
Oh,
them.
I see.
The hunters and the gatherers, they know how to get past them. Usually, we haven't had a problem with the kids, and we know they don't go too far out in the village. Out past the village, I mean, into the woods. This is the first time we've ever had an issue like this, which is why we know they're up to something.
Right.
Well,
He's getting
Well,
very
if you haven't
intense,
seen them do it
especially when he hears
yourselves,
the music.
sorry, you gotta
I'm a little suspect.
Incensed, as you can tell by the music.
Oh. um. Well, I believe that's at least something that we can start with. And he stops for a second, like just visibly goes deep into thought. Like, I think I'm painting a picture here. I'm thinking if they're laying out traps that are big enough to catch children. Maybe the children pissed them off.
Ah, they
Uh,
do have a habit of doing that, little buggers.
what would the kids have done to piss him off?
Well, that's what
Well-
we're gonna find out, isn't it?
How would you piss off a goblin?
Oh, I know plenty of ways to piss off a goblin. Trust me.
I know someone you could ask.
Who's that then?
Probably the man
Deadbeat
upstairs.
sleeping in that room over there.
We'll come back for him. Don't you worry. But for now,
Right.
I think we should talk to some of the others while the trail is fresh.
Right then.
And he did he ever actually get that drink that he requested?
Oh yeah, it was served to you ages ago. You've probably been sipping it this whole time.
Okay, yeah, like in that case, then I probably have been like sipping on it little by little before I just knock the rest of it back, uh, step away from the bar, and like, all right,
As you step away from the bar, you do almost stumble a little bit. That drink was strong, especially the way you shot it.
I think it's about time that we get going. But first, and he, without any subtlety whatsoever, looks directly at the person that drew his attention earlier.
He looks up to meet your gaze, locks eyes with you.
I flash a smile at him and start kind of walking over to him as gracefully as I'm able.
As you start, you feel a hand on your shoulder. As you look behind you, you see it's Garrett putting the hand on your shoulder. Oh, now don't mind him much. He's had it rough lately. One of the missing people was his fiance. He might know something, but just as a personal favor, maybe leave it for now. I think he's going through some hard times.
I'd say he is if he lost his fiancée to the goblins, yeah.
You just hear
You-
from the table just kind of a takes another sip of his drink, looks back down.
You know what, Garrett? You've been kind to us. I'll ask him questions later. Just, I don't know. I just had a feeling.
Oh, don't get me wrong, he's as bad as they come. Rotten little apple he is. Love to deck him one sometimes, but there's a time and a place for that, you know?
All right, all right. Maybe we'll talk over a drink later. Guess let's go somewhere else. Wanna see the boy or the farm?
Right then. Well, so we've decided we're going all together, have we? Works just as well for me.
Well, none of you were
I think
speaking
so.
up. I'm fine with whatever. Which one would you prefer?
Right. I am awfully interested in the boy myself.
I think you should stick together.
I may end up in trouble if we
God!
don't.
Got to babysit Mac for the time being, anyway. Can't handle his
Oi!
liquor, that one. Prove me wrong, then.
It, uh,
You hear Garrett behind you at the bar just go, oh boy, alright. What have you gotten yourself into this time?
Better have plenty of trinkets ready.
His
Right
face
for the
lights up as you
trinkets.
say that.
Oh no, trinkets later. And he starts heading towards the exit of the building.
Alright. As you guys go, following the directions that Garrett gave you off camera, you find this very modest house near the wood line. Just beyond it, you can see some makeshift walls that look very recently constructed. Out in front of the house, there's a little garden. It's got a mix of small herbs and a few flowers. Clearly they're trying to make it look nice, but also get some use out of it. How do you want to approach?
Clanging and banging. Not really. I don't know. Just
All right, as you
walk up and
walk
give it
up
a
to
knock.
the door,
Clanging.
4 knocks even.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
For dun 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 dun. Shaving a haircut.
All right. It takes a moment. The door opens and you see this middle-aged lady. Her eyes are red and puffy. Her hair is in a mess. Her clothes are disheveled. She looks at you. Her eyes widen. She jumps back for a moment before catching herself, kind of brushing herself off, and she says, "Can I help you?"
Uh, yeah.
Well,
We would like to go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Thane. You were leaning in.
No, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
After you.
All
I
right,
don't
if you
really care who it
insist.
is, but I'd like to hear from somebody, please.
Well, you say. He stops for a second. Levi here was really interested in seeing your kid.
Beg your pardon?
Well, so what it was. Now, hold on.
No,
Please
you're.
forgive my friend
Uh,
here. We's, maybe had a bit too much to drink. See, we were just down at the tavern and someone said that
This
you're...
hour?
Yeah, we needed room and thought that maybe it seems like a happening little town. We thought,
Right,
we'd
what
get
is
in
it that
before
you
the crowd.
want?
all right, we're
Right
looking
then,
for
so
the
your son
goblins.
got his... That's true. Yeah, we had your son got his... Well, his...
Oh, Why
Yeah.
didn't you just say so? You're here to solve our goblin problem, are you?
Something
Oh, God.
like that. Yeah.
I think it's about time that man got somebody in to do this. Yes, of course. Owen's just in the other room. He's resting now, but I'm sure he can answer any questions that you have if you're trying to get to the bottom of this. Come in, please. Excuse the mess. I've been an absolute wreck lately. I'm sure you can understand.
No, it's understandable, of
Did
course.
Garrett tell you the situation?
Somewhat. Something of it.
He told us
Problem with goblins, isn't it?
that your kid was playing in the woods and ran into a goblin trap.
Yes, well, I told him not to go too far into the woods. He insists that he didn't, and I believe him. I don't know what's gotten into them, but something must be done. I've not minded living in a village with goblins nearby. Up to this point, I thought they were perfectly harmless. They seem to be proving not. As she's saying all this, she's leading you through the little entranceway into the living area slash kitchen, where you can see propped up on a makeshift bed with his leg propped elevated above him in a brace is this kid about, I'd say, 10 or 11. He's got freckles on him, messy kind of rust colored hair. And he looks a little bit sullen, honestly. As you come in, he kind of looks at you. His eyes go over to Thien, and he goes, "Cool, what kind of beast are you then?"
He's a second stealer.
Um, yeah,
"Second
they
stealer?"
call me some call me second stealers. Some call me clock raiders.
"Oh,
Um,
be polite. I am so sorry for that. Listen,
oh, that's
these
okay.
folks are here to ask you about what happened in the forest." You see his eyes widen a little bit. He's like, "Now listen, I wasn't. No, 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 Owen. You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. They just want to know some information. They're gonna solve our goblin problem." And he kind of calms down. He's like, "Oh, well, all right then."
Just
And they both turn and
please,
look at you expectantly.
if you could, to the best of your ability, recall the events that led up to you getting caught in the trap.
"Well, me and Jamie were playing soldiers in the woods like we are, and he was the thief and I was the soldier. I was on him. I was about to catch him. I swear I was. And then I fell. I felt this, like something bit me. And I looked down and there were these sticks and they had dug into my leg and it was the worst thing I'd ever felt. And I wasn't too far in the forest, honest, I wasn't. I promise. It's just, I don't know." You can see he's starting to kind of have a little bit of a trauma response, reliving it all. Uh, Susanna goes down to him and starts sort of brushing his hair, rubbing his head, coddling him a little bit, but no more so than you think is appropriate.
All
Right
right.
then.
Um, and this Jamie that you were playing with, so they were all right. They weren't caught in any traps. They got
Oh
out just
no,
fine.
no, she's the only reason I'm okay. She ran and got help. They found me. I think it was Collie, and as he says Collie, you see Susanna just kind of looks down, closes her head, whispers a little prayer. He brought me back to the village, and well, I've been here ever since. Unfortunately, we would have had or sorry, Susanna turns up to you and says, "We would have had his leg fixed, but our town healer, mm, God rest her soul, And she just kind of leaves it at that.
Sorry to hear that. So, how long have you been without the healer then?
Well, she was the first one they got. I'd say, probably a couple weeks now since she's been missing. And then she looks down at Owen. She kind of motions everybody out to the entrance hall. We'll be right back, Owen. We're gonna go talk. She goes, once you're alone and away from the child. Coley was the next one. He was our de facto guard. More just made sure the drunks got home from the tavern okay after a festival, you know? After Brigitte went missing, he went and tried to find her, and one night he just never came back.
Typical of goblins going after the gods.
Yeah. And then, of course, it
Did
wasn't
did
long
your
after that
son
they got Davy.
did your son actually ever see a goblin, or just got caught up in the trap?
Just got caught up in the trap, thank the gods. No, he never actually saw one. I'm hoping we got to him in time before they could take him away.
When exactly was the last time that somebody claims to have saw a goblin? Been a lot of disappearances we're hearing about, but wouldn't even know what the blokes look like, really.
Oh, well, usually it's the hunters who have the run-ins, although Avis, the old codger, he sometimes sees him when he goes to his secret fishing spots. Past that, I think the only other person who ever has a run-in with him is Chris when they steal her crops.
So Chris has actually seen them.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. She never talks about it. She's a bit of a loner, that one. Not very big on community. But, let me
Has
tell you,
anyone
grows tomatoes like
within
nobody else.
has anyone within the last week that since this started happening seen a goblin?
I
I
suppose we
couldn't
might be
tell
able to
you for
find out from
sure, but
Avis.
haven't heard anything.
Okay.
They've been kind of, a bit skittish from what I hear, ever since, they started making their moves against us.
Well,
Of
this
course,
has
I
been
only hear stories from hunters and fishermen, so take 'em with a grain of salt, you know. Avis once said he caught a beast from the depths of Hades.
sounds like my kind of man. Well, this has
Sure,
been
if you like liars and blackguards.
He does.
hey. If it claims
I've
to
known
have
you.
caught a beast from Hades, I'm not just going to immediately assume that he's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you're a lot more understanding than most. And you hear just a hint of judgment in her voice. She's really trying to be polite, but you can tell the notion of any one of Avis's stories having even an inkling of truth is a little offensive to her.
How do you know Avis then?
Oh, he's lived here for as long as I have.
And how long's that been?
Oh, well, I've lived here my whole life. I grew up here, was born here. Avis, well, he's a bit older than I am, of course. But, yeah, he's always delivered fish to us. One of our best, despite his stories. I'm starting to just copy Levi's accent, and I need to stop doing that.
Yeah. My silver tongue, isn't it?
Sorry, I don't mean to copy your accent. It's just so evocative, so exotic.
Well, it's partially from Hades. Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, well. Maybe you can tell Avis the kind of fish that he didn't catch.
Or the kind that he did. Could have been me mum.
Of course. Well, if there's nothing else, I really must get back to uh, my work, if you don't mind. And she starts
One
kind of moving to the door.
one last thing before we leave. I just
Sure.
Is there any direction that you can give us for where exactly he was caught in a trap? If we go into the woods
Yeah.
looking around, we might be able to get some more information.
Well, he was playing just outside, I think towards the eastern part of the town. That's where they like to go. It's got all the little rocks for them to climb on, you know? I say them. I was young too once.
Interesting, that. And one last thing, then. What work do you do?
Well, I'm a housekeeper, aren't I? I tend
Right.
to Owen, the poor little cripple that he's become now. I clean, I cook, I tend the garden, I do the laundry, I do the fixing of the roof whenever it's got a leak. And she just starts rattling off tons and tons of chores. You can tell she's venting a little bit now that somebody's bothered to take an interest.
Right, then.
All right. I think we
And
should probably go.
And as you leave, she's still just listing off all the things she does day in, day out. Never a word of thanks from anyone. She keeps this whole village standing on her own back as far as she's concerned. And the door shuts behind her.
Thank you for asking.
Where are the heroes off to now?
Yeah, thank you, Suzao.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this could still be a good lead. The other person that we were led to by the barkeep. But Avis, if Avis actually goes into the woods and interacts with goblins a bit more often, maybe he could give us some more information about what's going on.
Maybe he could be less truthful than a humble farmer. But
Well,
either
worry not
way,
about that. I'm not called Truce here for no reason.
right.
You're not called Truce at all.
Right then.
Look,
Well,
you
one
don't,
way
you
or
don't
the other,
believe
as
me.
long as.
Worry not. My intuition is as keen as they come. I could tell a truth from a mile away. I could also hear a truth, smell a truth.
Yeah, as long as the truth wasn't the way to the bar.
Nobody. You're underestimating the importance of seeing the territory that you're entering before you actually go in, and that's okay. It's good that you have that you're brave. But I would like to know what I'm getting into.
Right then.
Speaking of which, let's go for
Whatever.
this Avis guy that I know nothing about other than he fishes.
And hunts.
And I do
Isn't
want to
fishing
ask,
a
how
type
do
of
you
hunting?
intend to find Avis?
That's a very good
Yeah.
question.
Do you intend to find Davis? Since you can hear the truth and see the truth and smell the truth.
Not taste it, funnily enough.
Working on it.
Not since COVID.
All right,
Well,
fine. If you prefer, we
maybe
can go
Chris will
to
know.
Chris and we can ask about Avis. We have apparently forgot to ask where Avis is from the person that told us about Avis. The
Do you
barkeep
want
can
to?
The barkeep can whisper, directions to us off camera, but this old woman can't because she's too busy telling us about all the things that she does to keep the town afloat.
She probably could have, but she didn't.
Yeah. Didn't sound like she was too keen on him anyway. Right then. All right then we'll go and see, what was it, Chris? The
Chris.
tomato farmer?
Finest tomatoes in all the land, yes.
Right, that's what she said.
As you go to the edge of the village where Chris's farm is, you find it's not just tomatoes. There's corn, there's wheat, there's barley. There's a little square cordoned off for just about any crop you would think anybody would need. And standing in the middle of the field with a hoe in her hand, you see a tall, imposing, glittering silver dragon person. A dragon knight, you would know them as.
Hmm.
Very interesting, isn't it? Wouldn't it be funny if that were Avis?
This looks nothing like a fisher.
Well,
Looks more like a tomato farmer.
She's
not
currently hoeing around some beans.
Oh,
that Chris always hoeing around.
Don't speak ill of Chris.
I haven't. Didn't say it was
Silver
wrong, did I?
Dragon Knights can hear everything.
It's true.
Oh right, that's a good idea, isn't it? Well, if we've already approached, I was going to see if I could eavesdrop on what they're talking about.
Who?
The Dragon Knight and oh, is Chris the Dragon Knight? My God.
Well, there's only one person in the field
Yeah.
tending
Yeah,
to
of
the
course.
farm.
Of
Like,
course, of course.
Of
yeah.
course, Mac
And
is
that
running on
person's
the
a Dragon Knight.
assumption that this is in
Yeah.
fact Chris.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Max made some interesting calls so far. I don't think this is one of the wildest.
Yeah, that's
He might be
fair.
seeing this truth a little bit clearly.
Right. Right then. Right then. Right then.
Now then, are you
Well,
gonna stand on the edge of my fields all day and talk, or do you have something to say to me?
Hello?
that depends. What's your name?
My name is Kristan Kijolden. You can call me Chris. Everyone
All
does.
right then. Lovely tomatoes you've got here.
Thank you. They're apparently famous. Now, what can I do for you lot? You don't look like the normal kind of visitors I get.
Well, we're looking into a goblin problem. We've heard that your tomatoes are so famous that even the goblins want them.
You see she heaves a heavy sigh, and as she does, a cold mist comes billowing out of her mouth. They've been telling you my crops have been stolen, have they? By the goblins, no doubt.
That's what
It's
we've
what
heard.
we've heard. Yeah, it's about right, yeah.
Right. Well, they're not quite right. I told Garrett that the goblins have been taking some of the crops, but it's always a fair exchange. They'll leave little bits of game, forest herbs, trinkets they find.
New
Sure,
trinkets.
they're helping themselves, but it's never been theft as far as I can turn. Seems like lately this whole town's trying to go after these goblins. They hired you to try to exterminate them.
Well, not quite.
Oh, I will.
Well, they hired us to look into the goblin problem, and right now we're just investigating, seeing if we can find out any information. We have to
Right.
go exterminating some goblins, and I have a heavy enough weapon to do so, but I don't know.
Well, be
I don't make
careful.
a habit of attacking those who don't deserve it.
Well, that's good at least. I would definitely be careful how you wield that heavy weapon. Oftentimes, the consequences of that go much further than the scars you get from battle. She starts to look wistfully into the middle distance. But anyway,
I put my finger up to my temple. I'm sensing a little bit of a dark, brooding backstory here.
no, just someone who saw one too many battles and got sick of the smell of blood. That's all. But listen, I'm sure that these people mean well, but they're scared. People go missing, people get hurt, people start to make rash decisions. They need a scapegoat. I've never had any problems with the goblins, and I'll bet you nobody else actually has either.
All
And the
right.
way that people are talking, it does seem like everybody who's blaming the goblins on problems and whatnot, they've not actually seen the goblins.
Well, no, they tend to stick to their forest near their village. They come out here occasionally to trade with me. I've heard that they'll steal from small game traps from time to time. Hear Avis talking about how they'll steal the biggest fish she ever pulled straight from the mouth of Hades. But really, they're harmless.
Maybe the goblins around here. Been plenty of goblins that are far from harmless. But I'll at least listen to what you have to say. You've been interacting with the goblins lately.
Not directly. I don't actually interact with them per se. I have a little altar out by the edge of my farm. Once upon a time, it was shrine to the gods that I still hold in my heart. In recent
So,
years, it's been turned into a goblin trading post. She gives kind of a wry smile at that.
so you've not actually seen the goblins either.
Oh, once or twice I've seen some floppy green ears sticking up between the corn stalks, but no, they're very sneaky. You kind of have to be when you're that small, and
When
everybody
was the
seems
last
to
time
hate
that
you.
you did see one?
Oh gosh, I'd say probably about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
But green ears are a
Admittedly,
pretty big descriptor.
sorry, what was
Oh,
that?
I said green ears are a pretty big descriptor of a goblin.
if
Well,
you
they
can
were
see 'em through the
almost
corn.
certainly goblins.
Right.
Oh no,
But no, ever
that was
since
not
the
sarcasm. I that was never mind.
no,
Yeah,
pardon me, I have so much trouble understanding you people's with lips, the way they talk. It's so confusing. But
well,
yes,
has anything changed with what's been traded lately?
well, now that you mention it, they haven't really been trading with me lately. They've been a lot more slow with it. I can't remember the last time I had any kind of crop taken or saw a little skinned rabbit on the altar.
You
Can't
heard
say I blame 'em if the whole town's after 'em, isn't it?
That shows quite a bit of foresight.
from what I'm understanding, this is a pretty recent
Also
development,
empathy.
actually. Um, but also you have. I'm sure that you've heard about the boy, Owen.
Oh, poor little Owen. Yes. I can't say that I know much about what he's gone through or what caused it. It's terrible what's happened to him, but I mean, these things happen. Children playing in the woods get hurt. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact of life, and you can't go exterminating or whatever you've been hired to do a whole group of people just for one accident. And I'm sure that's what it was.
Do you know if it's typical for goblins to have traps big enough to catch a person? That they mostly deal in small game.
I don't know much about how the goblins run their things. I mostly just trade with them for crops. I couldn't tell you.
Well, this has been quite insightful. But
Yes, indeed.
if
Maybe one more thing then.
Of
You
course.
mentioned that hunter again. What was it, Avis?
Oh, Avis the fisherman.
Yeah, do you know whereabouts we could maybe arrange to speak with him?
Well, I'd say, and she looks up at the sky. You can tell it's getting to be about noonish by now. Well, I'd say he's probably somewhere along the river trying to get his catch in. I don't think he ever stopped going into the forest. That man, I tell you, he is crazy. I don't believe a word of what he says, but he does seem to have his secrets, we'll say. She kind of gives you a little wink as she says that.
Right then.
all right. Well, thank you for for speaking with us. I think we should go see if we can track down Avis and see if he has any more information.
Of course, and please, for me, think twice before you go swinging around that big club of yours. It it will really matter when you get to my age.
I assure you, I always put 3 thoughts towards whatever I do.
Good. Wonderful. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. She gets back to tilling her land. Or whatever she was hoeing it. Whatever. Anyway, yeah.
Going around her beans.
What a wonderful lady.
She was quite nice, quite helpful, quite empathetic, I would say, yeah.
Now, as we go to track down Avis, though, what are your thoughts about what's going on so far?
I'm not too sure that the goblins are what the common townfolk here think that they might be.
A lot can change in a very short amount of time. Things that were fine, no longer. People that you thought were your friends turn to enemies. I would like to believe her, but also, I've seen what goblins can do. I've dealt with a number of them in my time as a guard.
But don't you think it's quite suspect that a professional on goblins comes into town right as they're supposedly having an issue with goblins?
Perhaps it's their goblin intuition.
It's a bit strange.
Well, I'm sure that we'll get the
Ye-
chance to speak with them later. And believe me, I would love to know what they think of goblins myself. But definitely seems like the town is a bit divided. I have my own theories about what may be going on, but I do worry with how ever changing this situation seems to be. I may just need to follow my gut. Let's see what Avis has to say before we go.
Indeed.
All right.
Also, another thing I've been thinking about, one of my lore skills is culture. Can I maybe check to see like what I know about goblins, just as like a base?
Using culture?
Yeah.
Sure. Give me a reason test with culture added. We'll just add 2 to it.
Okay.
You have no idea what a goblin is.
Okay,
What have
great.
people been talking about
Wait,
this?
you said
No,
we're
I'm
adding
kidding,
two
of
to
course.
it. That'd be
Oh, yeah, that'd be
a normal.
yeah, that would be a normal. Good point.
Yeah, right then.
You know what a goblin is.
Woo!
You know that they do have a bit of a reputation for being some nasty little guys. It's a hard life being a goblin. People don't tend to like them very much, and they are quite small. So yeah, they can seemingly turn on a dime. They can be really nasty. Sometimes that's just how they survive.
Right then. And that's why I'm suspicious of these townsfolk. I don't know. Seems like they might be the ones pressing further into the woods than they need be.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Is that especially if this Avis fellow just keeps going in.
Yeah,
Very
I think he
possible that
really.
anybody here could potentially have triggered them to start causing more problems than they usually do. I, I'm especially suspicious of that trap. I've, I don't know a whole lot about goblins and their actual tactics, but I will say
Or
that,
do you?
or
No, I'm
do
just
I?
kidding.
Um, But it's it just strikes me as wrong for them to be having traps that are big enough to catch something that's as big as them, if not bigger.
Right, but maybe they're having bear problems or something.
Is this bear? Are there bears around here? I don't remember any bears. Didn't see any bears. We could always
No,
ask Elvis.
this is more of a temperate lowlands forest. You don't really get bears here. Further into the mountains you would, but not really in these woods.
Bigger deer, perhaps?
Well, what did strike me as odd is Chris specifically stated that they had they mostly trade with like small game, like
Right.
rabbits and pelts, like
Well,
small stuff like that.
but maybe that's just what they trade then. Maybe they keep the bigger stuff for their own village.
Suppose it's possible.
Anything is?
Well, at the very least, I will hear out the story before I go swinging at anyone. As much as I would love to get back at some goblins for a couple scars that they gave my friends back at my old town.
Yeah, and that
I
way you could pick on someone your own size, eh?
I pick on people my own size more often than you think.
You're almost out of view of the village, walking down the banks of the river. When you see, I would describe him as an old man, but what you actually see is wiry hair and a great big bushy beard, behind which there are 2 eyes that you can tell have seen quite a bit. They're a little cloudy, sticking out. He's sitting on a rock, and he's got a fishing pole sitting in the water.
Now here's the story keeper, this one, yeah.
Believe that this is not a man. I will approach him.
Oh, what are you doing? This fish going here? What?
You must be Avis. I've heard a lot about you.
Yeah, Zavis, you.
Well, I believe that you're asking me my name. I
Yeah.
am Mac Trusier. We're looking into goblins.
Oh, Goblin, that little bastards, are they? Yeah. What do you want to know?
I would love to know if you have seen like if you have had any interactions with goblins lately. You go into the forest quite a lot, yeah?
Yeah, I go in the force. Got my secret spots. Goblins? No.
I haven't seen
They
any
stole my
goblins.
fish.
Well, they steal your
They stole.
fish.
Oh, hang on. They stole your fish, have they?
I'm telling you, it was bigger than you. He points over to Thene. And they took
Hmm.
it, cut it up, hauled it away.
And you saw this, did you?
Of course I did with my own. Ah,
Right. Which one?
old Hefty never let me down.
Right. I bet not. I bet not.
Riley's the one that sees through the water to the fish.
So there's nothing fishy here, is there?
Is that Pune?
Well, to play on words. Yeah, one might.
What?
One
Of
might
course
say.
there are fish here. Why would a fisherman of his stature be at the river without any fish?
Ah,
Well, perhaps because they all got stolen.
yeah. Hey, that's smart you look.
How many you usually catch a day, Avis?
Oh, that depends. When I go to one of my secret spots, I can usually get enough to feed the whole village for a day, at least. Of course, not everybody eats fish, so usually about 10 or 12. Big ones, too. Size of your leg. Of course, that was the one time. Caught a fish. Bigger than him. Points over to Thene again. Damn goblins stole it from me. Eyeballs the
Goblins.
size of apples. Teeth like daggers. Straight from the mouth of Hades it was. In this very river. He looks at you very intensely and expectantly.
That sound like a fish that you've seen.
Well, of course I've seen it. I caught it.
Not you, Avis. I'm talking to. Hold on, Levi.
Oh, beg your pardon.
That sound like a fish
Yeah.
that you've seen before.
You know, not particularly, being honest with you.
Well, I can't
Are you an
imagine that's how you would
ichthyologist?
describe your mother.
Oh, right. No, he's right about that one, yeah. Yeah. Come to think of it, yeah, quite a bit like me mum.
I guess you, ma'am. I didn't
Possible.
mean nothing by it, I promise.
Unlikely, could have been an aunt.
No, it was a fish, not an ant.
Oh, right, right. Well, could have been an uncle. Rather
Oh,
buoyant.
yeah. Well, had an egg sac. Size of a pumpkin.
Yep. Sounds like me mum. Known for her egg sack she was.
Well,
I mean, look at me.
I hesitate to ask, but
Gone.
what would you be able to tell us where any of your secret spots are? Oh shit! I killed him.
Actually, you know what? I like you. I'll tell you about one. Not gonna tell you where it is. If you find it, you'll know it. There's a spot on this river. Water gets still as death. Probably only about 4 feet across at that point. Think, oh, I can jump right over that river. Maybe you can. But if you fall in, it goes deep into the depths of the earth. There are things down there that have never seen the light of day. until I drew them up with my own rod.
Like Levi's mom.
Goblins took it! God damn it! The goblins took my fucking fish!
Well, he seems perfectly reasonable, doesn't he?
So the goblins actually come out on the river then?
Oh, all the time. They love their fish, little bastards.
Does the river run through the goblins' village?
I don't
Do you
think
know?
so. I've been all up and down this river. I ain't never seen no goblin hut. I think they just come here to get their cockles and their perch. Get their salmon. Do we have salmon in this river, or was that the other one? I don't know. They get their shit from the river.
Yeah, see, he knows what he's talking about, doesn't he?
He knows all about fish.
Clearly. And me
Let me
mum.
think about fish. Ask me anything about fish.
Are there
Are there
salmon in
are
this
there
river?
salmon?
Nah, it was the other river.
Right then.
Think. They might be further downstream towards the ocean. But I don't think they get this far up.
Right, and certainly they don't move for migration or anything like that.
Not lately.
Yeah, right. Interesting then.
So
So
goblins
they keep
usually
stealing.
get their food from the same river that you do.
Well, yeah, it's the only river in the forest. I don't know where else you're gonna get fish around here.
Would they have any
Right.
reason to catch anything like a deer or a wolf?
No
Ah,
wolf.
probably a deer. It's good eating on deer. Wolf's too gamey.
Right then. Does he have any fish about his person at the moment? Has he caught anything yet today that we know of?
There is a basket with a lid on it sitting next to him. It's a
Okay.
rather large basket. I'd say, like, imagine maybe a 15-gallon bucket and then transmogrify it in your brain into a basket, and that's what he's got.
Right then. Have you caught
Wow.
anything today, Avis?
Why, of course I have. Admittedly, not up to my usual stuff. Ever since, goblins started taking people, not just my fish. I've been sticking closer to the village. I can't get to my secret spots.
But you
But
would
I make
usually
do.
go further into the forest then.
Oh, I've been up and down this whole river. Right down to the sea. Right up to its source.
Right, where the salmon are, right?
I know every bend. I know every oxbow lake. I know where the salmon are. And make no mistake.
And hopefully I won't.
That's right.
So you think that the goblins are behind these problems
Teeth
in the
like
village?
daggers it had.
Well,
What?
you think these goblins are behind the problems in this village lately as well?
No. No. I think it's the spirit of that fish I caught. It's haunting the whole forest. Cursed it did. It's because I couldn't do the proper maritime prayers over it. Fish like that aren't supposed to be this far inland or this far up on the surface. Unless you cleanse it, it will put a miasma upon your entire society. But the goblins got it
Thank
before I could cleanse it.
And did you see them take it away? Or...
Oh, I heard 'em chittering in the trees. When I
Ah,
came
right.
back, they'd taken the head, taken the whole body, left me just a couple of little fillets. Nobody believed me, of course.
And when did this
Right then, so
happen?
when you...
Oh gosh, I'd say it was about a year ago now. And ever since then, there's been a curse on this village, I tell you.
I thought the goblin problem just started recently.
Oh, sure, but these things take time to germinate, don't they? Curses are weird like that. Should have heard what happened to old Marigold the other day. I'd say that was about 6 months ago.
What happened
Looked
to old
up into the
Medical?
sky, and he yawned, and a bird shat right in his mouth. It's the curse, I tell you. Did you hear about the sheep? Got its testiculars caught in the fence.
Oh, I did
Curse!
hear about that one. Yeah, I did hear. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to send Hutch out. Cut it free from the fence. Nearly took his own member off, kicking and screaming like nobody's business. Oh, God! He spits on the ground 3 times. How can I help you, fine folks?
Well, Thane actually had a great question, I'm sure.
Did
He
I?
looks over to Levi. What is it, Thane?
No, it's not me. It's it's this one here.
Oh, you got a lot of arms.
I do, don't I?
Well
Thank you.
armed, you could say.
You ever thought about
Uh,
spear fishing?
you know, I like this town. If I ever decide to settle down here, maybe we can do some spear fishing.
Yeah, I'll show you the ropes. Although you don't use ropes in spear fishing. You use a spear. Tied to a rope. What was your question, Thane?
I Where do you think we could find some of these traps people have been talking about?
Traps. What traps? Lobster traps? Oh, they're all up and down the river. Get some good
Goblin
crayfish, boil
traps.
them up.
Traps.
Goblin traps.
Traps
Oh, those are in the
made,
woods.
supposedly made by goblins.
Oh, those are in the woods. They're all over.
Do you
Alrighty.
know of any tells? How could we spot a goblin trap before we end up like that poor boy from the village?
Oh, I
Rude.
couldn't tell you myself.
Barely,
I
barely
stick to the
stuck
river.
together.
Hmm.
The goblin failed to it.
Oh, I got one. Come on. Oh, no. False alarm. Sorry.
You come here every day to fish, then?
No. You can't fish out one spot every day. You run all the damn fish off. You gotta go
Right.
up and down the whole river. Keep their populations high.
All right. Well, as long as
Stay
he's
one step ahead
sustainable,
of
isn't
them.
it?
Stay too long in one place, the fish start to get smart. Start to know what your lures look like. You gotta wait, let them forget.
Well, I believe that we have all the information that we need to get started.
Ah, name's Avis.
Thank you, Avis. I'm Mac Truce here.
I'm Leviticus Ethan. You can call me Levi.
You have a good day.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. Where are you
Look,
guys going from here?
look,
It was a
look over at Levi and be like, I didn't smell any truth there. Smelled something though.
yeah, something fishy.
True. Smelled that truth.
Well,
Anywho,
I,
I
at least
wonder
we
if
know
that
he's fishing sustainably.
true. I wonder if our goblin expert has awoken yet.
I'm not sure if they'll be of any use. I mean, it seems like we've got a curse problem here. Ha.
Right, yeah. Drives me to cursing, that I know for sure. I as well would like to speak with the goblin expert. I mean, as we've established, I know something of them, but nothing, nothing like what this fella might. Anyway, interesting that he would turn up in town right about this time.
Yeah, let's go talk to the fraud.
Plus, it might actually give us a chance to talk to the other man that we saw at the inn.
That's a good
Ah.
point. Might have come down a bit from the fiance trouble at this point. Though to be honest, if it turned out that she used them as an excuse to up and leave him, I can't say I'd blame her too much.
I would most
Right.
certainly blame her.
Right then. Well, if you're that interested, he is available.
That's not what I mean. I mean,
He's single, but he's not available.
Right. Not emotionally. And that's why I think she might have just left him.
all I'm saying is that there are some rules when it comes to a binding marriage, depending on the area that you're in.
Right. Of course they weren't married yet, were they?
And with
Not
that, you've
true.
made it back to the hopping perch. As you go in the door, you do in fact see a new face in the tavern. I'll tell you right now, he does not look academic. I want you to picture a man, disheveled clothes, dirt pretty much caked on to a jacket, barely kept facial hair, and a raggedy hat as he sits there and eats what looks to be a leg of turkey.
Well, might just be a field researcher then, mightn't it?
And of course, you do see the other fella still kind of nursing what almost looks like the same drink, frankly.
Alright, well, now's a chance to confront the so-called goblin expert. Who wants to take lead?
Go ahead.
Right then.
Right? Well, I walk up behind the man and I tap him on his back because I probably can't reach his shoulders.
He turns around to look at you, mouth still full of turkey, and is like, "Yeah."
You look like a very knowledgeable man. Would you be able to help us with a certain problem?
You see a smile starts to spread over his face. Let me guess. Townsfolk have hired you as the most nasty bunch to ever come back here because they can't afford my fee to take care of their little goblin problem. And they want you to shake me down so we can push out the little bastards, is that right?
Oh no, I had personal interest in you myself. We are hired for that, but there I would be great to be able to talk to an expert.
Kind of looks you up and down for a moment. Alright then. What questions do you have for me? And he kind of leans back. You can tell he's appraising you right now. Trying to get a feel for you.
Well, the first thing I would like to know is what brand of goblins are we dealing with out here? Apparently ones that are catching children.
Right, the trap, of course. Oh, no, they're, as far as I can tell, they're just typical forest goblins. Of course. And he kind of leans forward. Those can be pretty nasty, can't they?
suppose they can. But the townsfolk don't seem to believe that they had any problems with them until recently. What kind of thing would irritate a forest goblin like this? Enough to potentially attack the town that they've had peace with for years?
Well, you seem like an inquisitive one. What
I am
theories have you
inquisitor.
got?
Inquisitive. What kind of theories do I have? Well,
Yeah, what do you think's going on?
personally, what I think is going is that someone or something has been entering the woods that is not supposed to be there. Whether that be Avis the fisherman, the children playing a little too far, or potentially some beast. Unfortunately, the town is facing the wrath. I don't know a whole lot about goblins, but I don't see any reason why they would be setting up a trap that big unless they're expecting to catch something that big.
You really don't know much about goblins, do you? Right. Pull up a chair. Maybe we can talk.
I do pull up a chair and sit in it and kind of look over at the others. You're allowed to sit too if you wish.
Right then.
I'll
Pull up a
continue to
chair
stand.
and I'm gonna pull up a chair and sit in it, but like backwards, like facing the back, all cool and shit. Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep standing here, looking at him, reading him.
So, just to make sure I have this right, you think that instead of suddenly turning on their human neighbors, no longer being content with pilfering their crops, rather they've been what's oh, fuck, I genuinely can't remember the word now. Agitated by something. Is that right?
You're the expert, ain't you?
That's what they tell me. Only man dumb enough in the entire kingdom of Asloria to major in goblins, but yes, I am the expert.
And actually, I'd like to ask you about that as well. What was it that got you into the study of goblins and their ways?
Oh, lifelong fascination, isn't it?
It's fair enough. Nifty little creatures, if I do say so myself.
Are you fond of them?
I'm not disfond of them. Especially if it turns out that these villagers here have been overstepping their bounds and they're not taking it from them. Don't suppose you have any reason to think that there might be something in particular that is rubbing them the wrong way?
Alright, we're going to move into something here. But I will say, you have piqued his interest. He's going to introduce himself. His name is Barnaby Burton. There you go.
Okay.
Foremost goblin expert in the realm. And it seems that you want his help. He's open to giving it, but you're going to have to convince him that it's worth his while. So we're going to do something called a negotiation. The way this works is he's got two stats, his interest and his patience. You are going to try to appeal to him to make arguments about why he should help you. You will be able to make a roll for it. You are trying to increase his interest before his patience runs out. Now, he's got two special things. He's got motivations and he's got pitfalls. I'll tell you now for free, he's got two of each. Motivations are things that, if you're making an argument that I deem is appealing to one of his motivations, it will actually be much easier to convince him, and his patience will run out quite a bit slower. On the other hand, if you try to appeal to one of his pitfalls, his patience will go down, and he will not take that kindly. Now, I will say, if anybody wants to, I will let you try to get a read of him with a quick intuition test. I'm doing a lot of intuition tests, but that's what it is. Or if you can convince me reason would be better for somebody. But to get a read on him, and I will basically reveal either a motivation or a pitfall. You get to choose.
Yeah, I was going to ask if this would be a good place upon which to perform a read on a person.
It would be. Would you like to?
I would.
All right.
I sure
Go
would.
ahead. Give me an intuition test. Okay.
That's 20.
You know what? That's strong enough. I'm going to give you one of each. You'll
Fantastic.
get one motivation and one pitfall. So first, his motivation. Just going to copy these straight from my little document I've made. There we go. He's motivated by discovery. You can tell he's a very inquisitive person by all of the questions he's been asking. And then another pitfall. Or, sorry, a pitfall, not another one. Is... There we go. Higher authority. Somebody doesn't become an expert in specifically goblins if they care too much about people being better than others. So I'll tell you, if you appeal to his sense of discovery, he'll like that. If you try to make out the goblins to be inferior as a pest that needs to be taken out, which you've done a good job not doing that so far, he won't like that. And I will tell you right now, I'm going to run this a little bit open. So right now, his starting interest and starting patience are both at 3 out of 5. Who would like to make an argument? And I will say, it's not just like a presence test to make an argument. If you use your reason, you can use, like, if you try to reason out an argument with him using facts and logic, you can use your reason. You can try to prove that you have the strength to get him what he wants with might, things like that. It's not just, hey, let's make the bard with their high presence make all the arguments for us. Everybody's welcome to try, and if you can find a way to have your stats play into it, by all means.
I have a potential opening argument, but I am like, if you guys have something in particular that you want to ask or say, like, I am all for hearing you guys out.
Well, I have read person as well. I mean, I think, I was a little untrustworthy of him at first, but I'm trying to reason that he might be he might actually know a little bit about goblins. But can I do a read person on him as well?
If you'd like
no?
to.
Okay.
I'll let you go ahead and use your reason for it as well. So give me a reason roll, since you are trying to, like, use logic to kind of see if he knows what he's talking about.
All right. You have to remind me how to I roll for reason specifically.
You click
So
on
in your
the
Oh, it's
character
on the
sheet,
actual thing. Never mind.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Ooh.
All right.
Oh,
So
all right.
I'm
a
gonna do
reasonable
two
bunch.
things for you, actually. One, yeah, he's absolutely an expert. The way he's carrying himself, the kinds of things he's been saying. You know somebody who knows what they're talking about when you see that. And because you rolled as well as you did, I'm also going to say, if you make an argument during this negotiation, I'm going to give you an edge on your roll.
Okay.
Because you got that, you did that well. You know how to
Okay.
talk this
I mean,
guy's language.
I do have an argument, I
Go for it.
think.
Yeah, what you got?
Basically, I would like to have his help because I'm not fully convinced that the goblins are responsible for everything that's going on. And I think, having his help to figure out what's going on may, um, help to figure out exactly what really is going on. And if it is the goblins, figure out why and maybe be able to peacefully work this out.
All right. I think that's a very a reasonable argument. If you would, on your character sheet, before you actually roll, there should be something on the left. You might have to scroll down a little bit for it, where it says Edge +2 under conditions.
Let's see. Under
Should be next to one that
conditions.
says Bane
Oh, I see.
-2.
Yeah. You want me to click it?
Absolutely. And then
Oh,
go
all right.
ahead and give me a reason roll. Do you have any skills that you think might apply to this?
Well, let me take a quick gander.
I will say you've already used read person to read him, so I will not accept that one.
Yeah. I have. Let's see. Well, I have monsters, which is maybe part of the reason I don't think it's the goblin. I don't know.
Hmm.
Or I also have strategy, which could be. I don't know. I mean,
Let's just go ahead and do the roll.
yeah.
You're still getting a +2 from the edge.
Yeah. I think we're good. Let's give it a shot. All right. Well, if I can get it to roll.
I believe in you.
I'm assuming that you already just clicked on it, right?
I have, yeah. It's not working.
Odd.
Hmm.
It's the goblins.
It is. Let me
Is-
close it
No,
and
that's
reopen it.
gremlins.
That is the problem with goblins.
Jeez.
Let me
That is the
reopen it
problem
and
with
see.
The
goblins.
dice goblins.
No. What in the hey? Worked the first time, but now I'm clicking on the dice on reason and it just not doing it.
Well, if you'd
Weird.
like, I could bring up your character sheet and click it for you.
Sure, if it works, yep.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not working for me either.
Huh.
Hey, Rambles, try refreshing.
Okay. Try refreshing.
I'm going to do the same. The only thing I can think is if it's still counting you as hosting, there was some sort of like hiccup on your end. It might have. We've had issues like this before. All right, try it now, Riza.
I mean, I just
All right.
refreshed my page. I don't know if it refreshed the thing.
I don't know.
I got nothing here.
Nothing?
Nope. I'm refreshing my page.